Hello, welcome to One More Thing, Episode 2. I'm just going to talk about stuff that's going on with what I'm reading, some collabs that I've done, some that I'm going to do, and maybe a couple, if there's a comment that I think is particularly something I want to bring up, or if there's something about a recent video that I didn't mention, this is the place where I would probably put it. And then also like any book acquisitions that we have acquired, which is a lot. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of books coming up, and then also at the very end there's going to be a little game. I'm going to play with myself. We're going to write without any preparation, look at a book, or probably two. I think probably two books is probably a good number, but we'll get to that in a minute. And also I should just say that I've made this video twice and it didn't work out. The first time I think I got interrupted, like I got cut short for some reason. The second one, I was like halfway through it, and Chris was like, "Hey, you want to go live?" And I was like, "What?" And so we ended up going live the next day, but it like threw my rhythm off, and then I came back, and I'm like, I forgot some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I can go back and make another one. So I'm like, nah, make a new video. This video comes way late, right? This is like almost a week after when I originally made it, but that's okay. So that's where we're at. We're gonna just talk about this different stuff and talk about books, and it's the only person who doesn't know how long this video is going to be is me. Right, you know, and myself, the editor, knows, but we're sitting right here. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a longer video, but we'll just try and keep it interesting. You know, if I feel like it's lagged too much, then it's probably goes away. So first, let's talk about news. I was live with Chris and Richard on our Tuesday Literally Liminal show. This would have been last week, right? So it was about 6 days ago. It was a great time. It was awesome to get to talk to Richard again. It was just great. In that kind of real relaxed format, you know, no particular thing we want to talk about. Richard always shows off his fantastic knowledge of just science fiction in general, which is really kind of impressive and awesome. So go check that out. That was a lot of fun. That's on Chris's channel at Liminal Spaces. And then we also did an impromptu live show on Thursday. So that would have been, let's see, today is the 11th. So I don't know, the 8th or the 9th. I'm not going to do the math. It was on a Thursday. It wasn't too long ago. Just an impromptu live. We just went live and just started talking. And we did tease something that I'm going to talk about just a minute, a collab that Chris and Brian and I are going to do that we're all really excited about, but we haven't worked all the details. We haven't worked all the details out on. So it'll be a lot of fun when we get that going. But so I'm going to tease it a little bit more organically, a little bit more completely, because I think we did it in that live show, but we didn't quite say exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to give a little bit better tease on that, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, let's talk about the rest of the stuff that's going on. I'm going to be on the Elusive Exclusive Book Society. That's with Tim from Secret Fire Books, Jake from Pulp Mortem, and Nick from the Book Graveyard. That's their collab that they do. They do that once a month. I'm going to be a guest on there along with Grammaticus from Grammaticus Reads. That's happening. I believe it's a live show, and it's going to happen on the 19th. If I remember, it's a Monday, and I can check to make sure that I'm correct, which is very soon from now, the 19th, May the 19th. We're reading Powell Anderson's The Dancer from Atlantis. I think we all have this book, which is humorous. And what I think is also kind of great about this book, they're like, you know, what should we put in the back of this sci-fi book club edition? Should we put a picture of the writer? No, let's just repeat that Frazetta painting. Oh, well, it is a cool painting. So anyhow, we're going to be reading and reviewing that on the 19th on Tim from Secret Fire Books on his channel. I'm going to have a link in this video, and then there's also going to be a community post for that. So check that out. All right. What else do we have? Curtis and I have, Curtis has watched in its entirety the original anime Evangelion. He's watched everything. I have only watched the series. I've not watched the movies. So we are going to talk together about the series in a video. I think it's going to be on my channel. It's going to be here soonish. I think I want to rewatch the last like 5 episodes or so. I think I have like 4 or 5 episodes left to rewatch. And then we're going to schedule that, and we're going to do that. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And then after that, then I'm going to go and watch the movie. And then we're going to have another video that we're going to talk about. I don't know if that's going to be here or if it's going to be Curtis's channel, but we're going to do one of those. So Curtis from Deep in the Reads and I are going to do a collab. And on a pertinent note, Curtis is going to be on Literally Liminal with Chris and I on Liminal Spaces channel. And that's going to be the next Tuesday coming up, not this upcoming Tuesday. So that's going to be on the 20th. So on the 19th, I'm going to be on Tim's channel at Secret Fire. And on the 20th, I'm going to be on Chris's channel at Liminal Spaces. All right. So it's just going to be with Curtis, it's just going to be a discussion. That's just a very relaxed discussion, just like we have with Richard. We anticipate having a lot of fun and it being a great time. So come check that out. There'll also be a link to that in a community post and in the description of this video or whatever. I think that's what you call it. Yep. 3 comments that I got. The first one is someone did say from my most recent review, which is Mac Ammon's The Wolf's Hour, that there is a sequel written. It's actually a series of short stories that he wrote about Michael Gallatin, the main character, the werewolf from that book, that came out, I want to say, in like early, about 10 years ago, 2011, 2013, something just like that. I don't remember the exact year, but not very long ago. I was completely unaware of this when I did the review. It's kind of great, but I was really surprised because I knew the book existed, and I knew when I had bought the book and in subsequent years, there's nothing else. But I just hadn't checked up with Matt Gaiman in a while, and apparently he wrote this about a little bit more than 10 years ago. And it's well regarded. So that'd be really fun to revisit. Before I do that, I do want to get to the next Necroscope book at the very least, Vampire. I definitely want to get that. That should be this summer. Should be the next month or 2. Something like that. So that was awesome. Thank you very much for the comment. Then there was another comment on my Who Goes There video. Right? Chris made a great video about the publication history of John W. Campbell Jr.'s Who Goes There. And in there, he cited my video. And someone watched my video and said, and it reminded me in a sense saying where I thought, isn't it weird that the thing in the story Who Goes There, the spaceship that they find crashed had been made of magnesium, right? Isn't that weird? I said that, and that person said, yeah, it does seem weird. And it reminded me that, and I thought, oh yeah. And then someone said, actually, the reason it was made out of magnesium is because of its lightweight properties and its flexibility, and had just a phenomenal explanation of why it was important that it was made of magnesium, why that was used. And it was great. You know, it's one of those things where you just think, oh, isn't that weird? Campbell just kind of picking some weird random metal to use. It seemed like a good idea, but it's terrible. But actually there was a lot of thought put into it, which isn't too surprising. And just not knowing, right? Not knowing why, I could have just gone like that and just thought, oh, isn't that kind of a quirk? And it was really great to get somebody to say, actually, this is why. And a really great comment. Just a really great, like, hey, by the way, this is why it's like that. Thank you so much. It was awesome. It really was. And then one more comment on a very, very old video of mine. I don't remember which one of the 2 book reviews. I think it's for my Jack Chalker Midnight at the Well of Souls, which I really still think about as being my first real video. It's my first solo review video. That's what I think about as being, when I think about, you know, what's really your first video, I really think about that being my first video. Said something about how Jack Chalker was a Sagittarius, and this might explain to some degree some of the focus on centaurs. Now, if you've read Midnight at the Well of Souls or the Well of Souls series, you might understand how that's a humorous thing to say, especially Midnight at the Well of Souls. I'm not going to explain why. Either you understand that or you don't. If you don't understand it, then I recommend giving Midnight at the Well of Souls a try. A really fun kind of sci-fi romp. It's got some more cerebral stuff going on. It kind of uses the, what is it they call it? Like the big dumb object sort of idea, right? The well world, this world that has all these different, like completely incompatible in some cases, alien cultures and societies on it, and this massive planet, but they're all separated. Really an interesting, really interesting idea, and it's a really fun book from Chalker. My first real review, so it was really great to have somebody come back and say something like that. I thought that was very humorous, so I just want to highlight that comment as well. Okay, so I'm reading 3 things. Like I said, I'm reading Dancer from Atlantis. I have a week to finish that. Reading two other books, and we can talk a little bit about these. I'm not going to talk about that book. The two other books that I'm reading right now are Nif the Lean, and I'm a little past halfway on this book. I really like this book. This book is really good. I'll tell you what. I don't really want to give too much away because then it's like I'll start just like falling into a review. But it's comparable to me to Far from the Grey Mouser and like Jack Vance's Dying Earth series, right? Very similar to those two things. And I think it kind of brings its own unique take to the stories. So far I've read 3 stories. Each one features the same characters, well, at least the same main character, but they're not necessarily connected. I do not believe this was published as a series of short stories that got collected. This was just published as a novel, as far as I can tell. So that's really great because you can read one of the stories and just get like one whole thing. And it's good for a reason that I'm not going to explain right now. So anyhow, really enjoying this from Michael Shea. Looking forward to finishing and reviewing it. I think it's going to be such a fun book to talk about. Really great. This is the first in a 3-book series that he wrote. And this has got this absolutely gorgeous Michael Whelan cover. I like, check that out. Isn't that just maybe one of the best covers I've ever seen from Michael Whelan? I mean, I'm not saying it's the best, but it's absolutely stunning. Just stunning. So that's awesome. Michael Shea, Nif the Lean. Really great stuff. The other one I'm reading is this behemoth, Pandora's Star, the first of a 2-part series, right? This is the original, I don't know if this is a first printing hardback. I think Nif is a first print. This says, I don't know why it says first published. It looks like it says, I don't think this is a first printing. It says first published by, and now is not the best time for me to figure that out. But anyhow, this is not like a sci-fi. The reason I bring this up, this is not a sci-fi book club edition or something. Like this is a full-size hardback. This thing is huge. This is the first of 2, okay? It's almost 900 pages, 800 and some change. 881. Yeah, it's a beast. And then second book, Judas Unchained, is Judas Unchained is basically about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller. And what I know, because I've read and finished this first book a little bit more than a year ago, and needed to go back and reread it because the cast was so big at some point that I thought, oh no, I won't be able to even talk about who's in this book. I need to go back and make like a list of characters, and there's so many interweaving plots. So I'm rereading it. But this is really just one giant book. This and the next book are one big book. They're not, it's like if you just read this, it's not like you're like, oh, that's good. Huh, maybe I'll come back to that someday. You're like, well, what happens? It's that kind of an ending, right? So you need to read the next book, essentially. I really do like it. The closest analog I can think of, having read this, is, although this is not 100% accurate, of course, I'm saying analog, right? Not a digital, not a 1-to-1 comparison, but a close comparison would be something like Mass Effect. Yeah, really great, like space opera stuff, but also has a lot of personal drama and lots of like interesting and new technology. It's like, this isn't just like a sci-fi epic. It's also like tons of world building happened in this first novel. So, really great stuff. Looking forward to talking about Pandora's Star. And then I'm going to go right into Judas Unchained right after this. I'm just going to go straight into it. So this is going to be a beast. Yes. Coming up, as soon as I finish one of these books that I'm reading, the next thing I'm going to be reading is Hard Boiled Wonderland. That is a book. Chris sent me his copy of that. I don't know if it's going to come up here in a minute or not, because Chris sent me books, Brian sent me books, I bought books. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's in these piles or not. I don't remember, but he sent me his copy, which was really great. And I love getting I actually kind of love getting somebody's older copy of a book. I kind of like that a lot, I think it's neat. I think it's really neat, actually. I don't know why. This is like the book has history. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. Of course, Chris, if you've watched Chris's channel, you know he loves that book. So it's like his new son, in a sense, right? A book that he's really excited about. He really likes to talk about. So I can't wait to read that and then get to talk to him about it. So that's the next thing I'm going to read. I'm not going to say when it's going to start and when I'm going to finish it, but that's coming up. I have two book reviews. I have two book reviews I can do. So the first one I want to do that I meant to do for the sort of like 4-year anniversary of the channel, but just didn't happen because of various things. Unfortunately, sometimes it's like I'll do this thing and it's like I got super busy and it just didn't happen in the time I wanted to. So here it is, almost a little bit more than a week, 2 weeks later, right? And my schedule is strange too. So it means that like just things sometimes gotta get like, and it's like, oh, 4 days later, I'm like, well, okay, here I am getting to it. Anyhow, let's take a review for Hank Howard, Pizza Detective. This is a crime comic, right? About a guy who solves pizza crime. And it's absolutely gorgeously illustrated. Just beautiful. And I don't know, I'll try and get some, that's actually not a bad picture right there. Let's see if we get this one up here. Let's get that picture. And it's just great. Absolutely gorgeous. Incredibly sturdy. I mean, this book is incredibly well printed. They're crime stories. And yes, it sounds corny. It is corny. And it's great because, for the most part, it's played serious. Only a couple times when Hank Howard is like, pizza crime doesn't pay or something like that, does somebody sort of like, what are you talking about? Normally they're just kind of bewildered, right? But they don't say anything, they don't break the fiction. And it's absolutely great. Occasionally, I can think of 2 instances in here where they do, and I felt like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have called it out. I think it takes a little bit away. That's the only criticism I have of this. Lots of fun. Some of the crimes are just like silly, like somebody stealing tips, and then it actually gets into like the drug trade and stuff like that at certain points, right? And it's all kinds of stuff, and really fun, right? Really fun, really enjoyable, really a good time to read. I love crime comics, and I love like horrible detective stuff in general, and that's what this is. But it's all about pizza. It's got this absolutely gorgeous cover. Like I said, it's a brick. It's so well done. A lot of fun. This was a Kickstarter I got into, printed by Bad Idea. And they had a thing like, we're going to get this out to you in like a month after the Kickstarter is complete. And if we don't, then you get like our next Kickstarter for free. And then for a minute there with the weather, it was looking like they weren't going to get it in time. And I'm like, oh man, these guys are going to go bankrupt. I'm like, I just want my comic, man. Just give me a discount in your next project. You don't need to give it to me for free. But they did get to me in time. I don't think I've ever had a book that was packaged as well as this book. Absolutely a fantastic time. Little expensive, but really, really outstanding print quality. Just like maybe one of the best quality books I own, right? Or at least it's up there with the best quality books I own. We'll put it like that. Just so good, so much fun. If they do more of these, I'm definitely going to go into it. It's kind of, it seems so silly, right? It seems so silly, but it hits just a really good note of being just a little silly, but taking itself seriously. And so you are laughing, but the characters are not. And it was good. I liked how it was done. He does all these really corny sort of pizza quips, like, talking real hard nosed talk, and everything, but it's all like slightly pizza related. Like, I guess I don't know, he probably does say something like pizza crime doesn't pay, but there's, I'm going to take a slice out of crime. I'm sure he says something just like that, but he doesn't quite say it so corny. Very fun. Very, very fun. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, check it out. I don't know that it's available publicly just yet. It might be. This is not brand new, but it's of interest to you. Check it out. See what you can think. Maybe they have a digital version that you can pick up. So, Hank Howard, Pizza Detective. Totally worth it. The next review I do not have a copy of. But that's okay. It's a nonfiction book. I'm actually thinking about doing like a little 5 nonfiction books worth trying video, which would be cool. It's tough because I've read most of those books. Some of it, I haven't finished most of them, so it's a tough thing to talk about. But anyhow, we're not going to worry about that. But this is a nonfiction book, and it's by Kate Murphy, and it's called You're Not Listening. And the book is about how we don't listen. Now, that might not sound real interesting. You might think, well, that doesn't sound... and we're here talking about genre fiction and stuff that sounds boring. And that's kind of what I was worried about. My sister recommended this to me a little while ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. And I thought, I don't know. But I thought, this isn't a very long book. Let's just give it a try. She has good recommendations, so I should just trust her recommendation and give it a shot. And so I did. It was actually great. It's not like a bullet point list of like what you can do to be a better listener. And it's also not shaking its finger at you the whole time saying you don't listen and that's bad. It shows you why listening is really valuable and what good listening looks like and what bad listening or bad listening skills have you miss out on. It made me realize things like, when you talk, you don't really, of course, it seems obvious, but you don't learn anything when you talk, right? But when someone else talks and you listen, then you learn something. And sometimes we kind of want somebody to hurry up. We're thinking about what we want to say when that person's talking. And we really miss out on that moment when that person is sharing something with us. But yet we still want that person to give us their undivided attention when we speak. And I thought it was really a great message for one. But also, apart from the fact that I like the message or not, it was actually the book really demonstrated why it's a super valuable thing to be a good listener. It talked about various people in different walks of life, like a guy in the CIA, somebody who does like product studies, and how those listening skills in various different professions, not just those two, how valuable they are and how useful they are and how successful those people are just by listening to other people. The CIA agent, really said that he almost never, interrogating somebody, like hard-nosed interrogating was like one of the worst tactics to get information from somebody. It really was. I think the book, Kate Murphy, in her interview with him, that she kind of shared part of in this book, said that he said, when interrogating somebody, he would come in and say, tell me the thing. He said something like, tell me that thing you don't want them to find out. Or not, wasn't that. It was like, we can't let them find out these things. Like, he really developed this rapport with this guy, and he developed this fictional them with this guy, and then listen to this guy sort of talk about how he didn't want them to stop him from doing this and this. And I think this guy was a terrorist or something. Really fascinating. Totally worth checking out. A way better book than I thought it would be, and a book that actually has real life practical uses. It made me much more aware of trying to stop thinking about what I want to say and to just listen and really add how much that can add, the listening side, how much that can add to the conversation and how much I can learn just by listening, I don't know. Anyways, a really great book. Highly recommended. Kate Murphy, You're Not Listening. Hopefully that sold it a little bit for you, this sort of impromptu review. I'm going to take a drink, because that's what happens. And while we take a drink, I'm going to point out that I often drink from this mug. And if you want a good coffee mug, this is a really cool coffee mug. This is from Calamity-ware, and I don't know if you can tell, but this is not China. These are all like calamities, right? Like zombies, dinosaurs, robots attacking, Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot. That's all it is. It's this really great, fine China company. If you're looking for a gift for somebody who likes coffee mugs, or if they like, I don't know, they have dish sets and everything else. It's not cheap, right? But something like one coffee mug isn't too bad. It's a little bit more, and it's really nice quality, and these prints are really good. This has gone through the dishwasher a few times. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, or anything, right? There's no sponsorship, but really great, So if you're looking for a really cool themed gift, this is something that, if it sounds interesting, that person is probably going to love it. I got this for my wife a few years ago for Mother's Day. I got her a set of these, a set of regular coffee cups, and I think they had Christmas mugs too for hot cocoa. They had dinosaurs and Santa hats and stuff on it, in the same theme, except I think the Christmas one is red. Really great stuff. Anyways, Calamity-ware. Sorry, it's like a sales pitch, right? I found something cool. I want to share it with you. That's what it is. That's the energy I've got. Oh, coffee. I'm not a coffee person, but I drink it. It is a useful tool. Now, there's a lot of freaking books over here. A ton. I'm just going to, and essentially I was getting ready to put them away, but instead of doing that, I'm going to go over them. And I got, like I said, books from Chris, from Liminal Spaces, books from Brian, books that I bought. I wish I had them organized in piles, but I don't. So we're just going to go over them in whatever order I can. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Here we go. Oh, and I'll bring something up too. And I didn't know this, but maybe it's of use to you. I did a review a little while back about the employees, and I found this. No, I didn't find this copy. I got this one through Amazon, but I saw this copy at Barnes & Noble. So if you're interested in it, you may not have to look real hard for it. I was kind of surprised. I didn't know. I'm like, ooh, that's so cool. It was right here. So I don't know. I got hit with my annual membership fee for Barnes & Noble this past week, and I was like, ugh. To my wife, listen, we got to go to Barnes & Noble. She's like, why am I? Because I just paid the membership fee. We got to get out there and make our money back. I think we might have, unfortunately. Anyhow, but this was at Barnes & Noble. I didn't get this there, but they had this exact same copy there, right? Great sci-fi book. It has a lot more going on than just sci-fi. A lot about like the workplace and what employee sort of exploitation is like, and super weird alien objects that are maybe sentient. Really great stuff. Really good stuff. Brian sent me some stuff. Chris sent me some stuff. Let's go over what happened. This is a stack right here. So Brian sent me some stuff. He had just a picture of these books. He's like, here's a bunch of books. You want any of these? I'm like, well, okay. So some of these I took. Some of these my wife was like, oop, I want that. And we're going to see them all. And that is not one of them. All right. He had a copy of Frank Kafka's The Trial, which I did not have. And I was like, oh, I will take it. I will take it. I do not have a copy of that book. And now I do. Thank you, Brian. Boom. Book one out of the way. Wait a minute. There's more books. Jesus, there's more books. She wanted, he had some John Saul. And she's like, I'll take anything John Saul that he doesn't want. And so he's like, okay. So we have John Saul's Nathaniel. I don't know anything about these. Right. I guess I'll hold them up. It's got a little gravestone there, and Nathaniel apparently did not make it. Or maybe he's not going to make it. I don't know. If you want to know, you got to read the book. Yeah, I don't know. We're not gonna do that. It's too many books here to read the backs of. I'll have to take my pick. We have a book by R.L. Stine, Red Rain. And it looks like I don't know why. I guess it must have been a library. I'm going to guess it was a library edition. Yeah. Because it looks like it's got a library code up there that's been crossed off. So cool. I don't know. She wanted the R.L. Steins as well. She likes his adult horror. So I thought that was kind of cool. Hanover Public Library. Hope that's okay. I said that. John Saul, The Unloved. This is a cool cover. Cool cover. I think it is. I think it's cool. I dig the horror covers, right? Oh yeah, I have that announcement too. Well, we'll get that in a second. Yeah, still coming up on the announcement, right? Let me clear some more space, and then we'll do the announcement, and then we'll go back, right? He also sent me this Long Arm book by Tabor Evans. It's a double feature: Long Arm and the Avenging Angels, and Long Arm and the Wendigo. Kind of a corny cover, right? A little cheesy, but I like it. It sounds interesting. I think he was talking about another. I think he had just done a book haul video, and he had gotten some of these long arm books, like the individual novels, and he said they're like westerns that have like an adult scene or something thrown in there as well to kind of spice it up. The men's adventure, like I guess you could say like westerns. I guess western is just sort of defined usually as a men's adventure type of story or similar. They kind of are. Whatever. Anyway, looked cool. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to try that. So he sent it to me. He was done with it, I suppose. Chris sent me this. This is a Chris book. I'm going to get this little stack here. Chris sent me this, and he said, thanks for, this is just returning the favor for God's Abide. He sent me A Personal Demon. Yeah. Man, I think the cover kind of sums up the kind of silliness that this book is going for. I don't know that I'm ever going to read this. This is by... It has 3 writers. Interesting. 3 different writers on one book. That's interesting. I don't know if I'm going to read it, but it is funny, and I'm definitely not going to get rid of it. It's pretty cool. I went to a local used bookstore 2 weeks ago and found this John Wyndham short story collection, The Infinite Moment. So that was pretty cool. And this is, it's not in the best condition, but it's not terrible. This was printed a la 61. Consider her ways odd. How do I do? Stitch in Time, Random Quest, and Timeout are what's included in here. And it almost looks like this is like a mistake with marker, but I don't think it is. It looks like it's part of the print. Interesting. I don't know, but it looks interesting. Anyhow, they had that same bookstore had a F. Paul Wilson sci-fi book, The La Nage Chronicles. I hope I said that right. Which just looks like it's apocalyptic sort of sci-fi type stuff. Yeah, looks fun. Yeah, and I like F. Paul Wilson, so I was like, cool, I'm trying this. I had run across, this is also from that same bookstore, I had run across this series, never having heard of it before, and they had the first book at this bookstore randomly, and so I picked it up, and it's by Michael D. Larabetti, that's what I'm going to say, and it's The Borbles Go for Broke. And I believe this is the first book in that series. And I believe the sort of quick synopsis of the Borbles, or the idea of the Borbles, is like these kids, and I think they're in London. Yep. They kind of like wander the streets like orphans or something, I don't know. And if they wander them long enough or something like that, or maybe there's some thing that has to happen, their ears get pointy, as you can tell. You think you can tell that she's got a pointy ear. And they don't grow old. So kind of like a Peter Pan type scenario, like a Lost Boys, I should say. So it sounds pretty interesting. I know there's 3 books in the series. They just look kind of neat. My wife loves Peter Pan stuff. So I thought, ooh, she might like this too. So I picked this up, and it looks like it might be fun. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm not going to say that again, because who knows when any of these are going to get read. I've already got a list, right? So, yes, let's do this quick announcement. Then we'll get back to this. Then we'll do the little game. So the announcement, this should have come earlier, is Chris and Brian and I had a lot of fun doing the like the sort of buddy review, I guess you'd say, for Michael McDowell's Blackwater. That can be found on Chris's channel at Liminal Spaces. We all read the entirety of the Blackwater series, all 6 books, and reviewed it together. It was a lot of fun to read the story, and it was a lot of fun to review it with those guys. We all enjoyed that experience. In fact, right after that, Chris was like, when do we do the next one? We should do one for Halloween. And so we started talking. And then and we were definitely going to do it. So we started like come up with a list of like books we could read. And then as part of that, I thought, oh man, it's such a long wait. And there's like, I came up with this list. I think we all kind of had stuff on a list that we wanted. And we had this list, and it was like, man, I want to read these books. I don't want to wait and read like one book in like 6 months, and that's it. It's the next book. It's like, oh, maybe we can do something sooner. So we started talking a little bit, and then I think right now the plan, which is a lower commitment plan, is to every 2 months do a review just like that together, and review a horror book. That's all I'm going to say right now. We have some silly ideas about it, which are fun, right? And I think we're all on board the silly idea. So there'll be like an official sort of like announcement or like 0 episode to a series that's going to be on this channel on Literally Books. And we're going to do something there. We'll have an official like announcement with all 3 of us, because I don't want to talk about it too much without Chris and Brian both being here, so we can all talk about it together. I think it's pretty important to me that we all talk about it, because it's a collaboration between all of us. And we're going to be reading horror together and talking about it, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it, and we're all excited about it. So yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Look forward to that. When schedules allow, we'll be doing it. I would imagine we'll be doing it soon. I think that we're planning for our first official review for that to come or somewhere in June, probably the end of June, or near the end of June, probably. There could be some stuff before that, but that's the one that we definitely know we're going to do, and we've got a book picked out. We're going to read. I'll save the book we're going to read for that video. So just keep an eye out for it. It should be coming up somewhat soon. I would think in the next week or week and a half we'll have something up. So that's really exciting. Back to these books that are in front of me. Okay. Some other stuff that Chris sent me. He sent me these really great DAW, sort of the annual World's Best Sci-Fi, edited by Donald Wilhelm. We've got the, this looks like the 1975. It's got Asimov, Bester, Stableford, Dixon, and Martin, and others. So this looks pretty cool. This could be fun. I love sci-fi short stories. I grew up reading books like this, so this would be cool. He sent me another one. This is the Wilhelm's Best Sci-Fi Series 2. So that's the best of a year. This is just Series 2. It was originally titled the 1973 World's Best Sci-Fi. So, okay, I'm not really sure. I guess they started in 72 and they did it in 73. We've got Pohl, Conley, Tiptree Jr., Anderson, Tilley, Bass, Vinge, Simak, McFarlane, and McKellen. So, yeah, looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. I mean, new stuff. Like I said, love this stuff. He also sent me this. I do not know. Honestly, I've not looked anything up, but I don't know the writer. But it looks interesting. It's got a great cover. It's Michael Kirkland's Tomorrow Night, where history pivots, time plays tricks. Yeah. I said it right. I thought it was where history? Yep, it is where history. Wait, not when. You know what I meant. Where history. It's not where. You get it. I'm just going over it again. Let's see. Also from that little bookstore, I picked up James White's Sector General, which is 4 Tales of Medical Disaster and Imaginative Recovery. So these are, I think these are like medical thrillers, right? But they're like space opera medical thrillers. I've been somewhat interested in James White. I don't know anything about him. Right, I've seen other channels I know review him, although I can't remember who. And I don't know. Nobody was like, "Oh my God, James White's amazing," but then maybe he is, and who knows what story they read. So, anyhow, picked it up. It was inexpensive-ish. It wasn't super inexpensive, but it wasn't terrible. So, good enough for me. Let's see. That's Chris. Brian also sent me this Gothic novel, Down a Dark Hall by Lois Duncan. This was one of the finalists for the books that Brian was going to read. Did I say Chris sent me this? Brian sent me this. Maybe I said Brian. I don't know. I can't rewind. And I was like, oh, you should read that one. He didn't. Somebody else picks up else. I thought it was funny because this guy looked like a giant Abraham Lincoln. But I think it's like this story about these like psychically gifted girls, a school for psychically gifted girls, and weird stuff happens at this school for them, right? Yeah, I like it. That sounds cool too, because it kind of reminds me a little bit of Suspiria, which I absolutely love that movie. But I doubt that this has anything or hardly anything in common with that movie. So we're just going to put that book down because it's not true. But it could be a good book. Who knows? Let's see. Brian also sent me this John Shirley book, Eclipse, which is sort of like a sci-fi book. Looks interesting. I like John Shirley. I read his book. I think it's actually like 2 novellas or something that he wrote called Demons. I think there were 2 different stories in there that were combined as one novel. I read that and liked it. Kind of like a zombie apocalypse, except that instead of zombies, it was demons. So, anyways, I like that. I remember reading it. I liked Shirley's writing, so this might be cool. Okay. Also at that bookstore, I picked up a George Simon. Why am I trying to put an emphasis on there that I don't know exists? It's not Simon. Well, anyways, maybe it's Georges. Oh God, terrible. Pieter the Latvian. I feel like I'm pronouncing everything wrong, and I might be, and so I apologize. You can correct me in the comments if I am. I love like hard-boiled detective type stuff, and I think this is, I don't know if this is quite hard-boiled, but I think it's along the same vein. I first heard about this writer from Curtis, Deep in the Reeds. He recommended, he had read a book last year in 24 by the same writer called Dirty Snow, and he said it was really great. And actually, I did pick up a copy of that book on a very inexpensive price, and it's made me interested in the writer in general. So I picked up this, and I think I've got one other book and Dirty Snow. So hopefully at some point I'll get a chance to read that. Curtis is like my source for interesting and interesting books that I probably would have otherwise never paid attention to or would have completely missed. So yeah, definitely. I love it. It's great stuff. He's great stuff. I mean, I've read two or three books based on stuff that he's done. At least two. I read When Darkness Loves Us and the other book, The Employees, both of which were absolutely 5-star outstanding reads. So they really were. I mean, I'm just not just saying that, they really were 5-star reads. So yeah, pretty good track record. Yeah, I think so. Now, we have this book. This also came from Brian, and I don't even know anything about this book, and it doesn't matter because the cover was freaking awesome, and it's The Mesmerist by Felice Picano. I'm going to say Felice Picano, and that's what I'm going to say, and I'm probably wrong, but look at that cover, and you won't care. Look at it. Isn't that too glare? Oh my God, I love it. I think that cover is so cool. Just loving it. Weird, moody, digging it. It could be pretty good. I don't know. I haven't looked up anything about it. I just didn't. I didn't look at anything about it. So there we go. Oh, let's see. Brian also sent me this book, The Lost by Jack Ketchum. I've always wanted to read Jack Ketchum, but I never have. So I think I've got I used to have one of their mass market paperback of Ketchum's. And Stephen King said something. There's just something behind this 5 for 4 sticker that Stephen King says. He probably says something like, "Yep, I'm Stephen King. If I have a quote on this book, you're probably going to take a look at it. So here it is." It's about how it works, right? They're like, Stephen King's like, "All right, cross my palm of silver. Okay, yeah, read this book. Why not?" Maybe. I've heard good things about Jack Ketchum, and so never read him though. So it'll be really interesting to try. Maybe this is the book to try. Maybe this is a book we'll read together. I don't know about that. I have a feeling Brian has already read that book, but we'll never know unless we ask him, and I have not asked him. Brian sent me this book, didn't he? I think Brian sent me this book. It could be Chris sent me this book. I think this looks like a book Chris would have sent me. One of them sent me this book. One of those two. Maybe Brian sent it to Chris. Chris sent it to Brian. I don't know. Etidophoria, or the End of the Earth, John Uri Lloyd, and the cover is gorgeous, and it makes me think because of it looks like it's an older book with this cover. It makes me think Chris sent this to me, so that's my guess. What's your guess? We'll find out together. Will either of them watch this video this deep? We don't know because we are far into this video. Looks interesting. A great underground fantasy of nightmarish horror and devastating beauty. With original illustrations. How did I miss this? It does have original illustrations. Oh, weird. That's like photo. It's almost like a photo. Can I get this in close without totally messing the camera up? Who knows? Might be. I know sometimes I get to this camera and it focuses in on something and then it gets blurry. So that might be horrible. Oh yeah, look at this. Yeah, that's creepo. Check it out. Oh man, that's awesome. I like it. I love it. Who did the illustrations? Should we find out? Wouldn't it be interesting if it was the writer? Some writer had to be there's probably somebody who's done it. This is I believe this is an Llewellyn Drury. Llewellyn Drury. You promised to print the same. Wait. No, wait, no. It was has communicated in the manuscript to. Oh, no, I'm totally messing up. What? Wait a minute. Sorry, I got so confused because I saw this guy with this crazy forehead and beard, and then I saw Llewellyn Drury. I think Llewellyn is right, and I thought that was it. That's not. It's communicated in manuscript to Llewellyn Drury. That person. God, I'm having a hard time with this. and John Uri Lloyd assembled it. It has illustrations by J. August Knapp. Now, I'm going to show you both pages here, and you can see how messed up I am, but it doesn't matter because you won't read it because you're going to look at this guy's face and you're going to forget everything I just said. Look at that man. Yeah. Yeah. With a forehead like that, you're never going to look at the other page. Okay. And moving on. Man, it's crazy. He looks like a giant. He looks like a fuzzy pill that somebody put a hairpiece and a face on. Look at him. Like a fuzzy pill, somebody put a hairpiece and a face on. Super creepy. I might have to read this just based on the creepy illustration. Whew, it's intense. I'm going to have a hard time after that. He sent me these issues of Fantastic, 1973. There's a bunch of cool looking stories in a bunch of these. All right, I'm just going to show them. We're not going to go in too much depth into these. They probably sent me this one because it has a Thomas Burnett Swan book in it, story in it. I know he did. He knew what he was doing. It also has a Thongor. It has a Thongor story in there, so that's cool too. Charles Heffer, I don't know. I don't know. This one's cool. This is the 78, April 78. Very cool. And this has got a Fritz the Leiber, Far from the Grey Mountain adventure in it. And this is 75. Fantastic. Very cool. And then this one, which has a Jack Vance story in it. It's the end. I've already looked. The end of Maroon, Alistair, 1930 or 933 by Jack Vance. Pretty cool. Only the end of the story, though. The conclusion. I don't know how many other parts there are, so who knows how many other versions of this I'd have to buy. A lot. Very cool. You get that. There's more Jack Vance coming up in a minute. He also sent me this best of Jack. He must have had 2 copies of this because I just saw him hold this. Unless he record, he had to have 2 copies of it. Maybe. He sent me this Johnny B. Campbell Jr. collection that has Who Goes There in it. I did not actually have a physical copy of that, so that was cool. He sent this to me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I have no place to put this book now. That goes on the floor. I'm going to set it right there. Oh, let's see. Let's see here. I also found, I don't know when I found this. I found in the library sale last year, I got volume 2 of this, and I happened at half price. I came across volume 1, The Galactic Empire's volume 1, which is pretty cool. Yep, that lady is not wearing a shirt. I don't know why. I don't know. I didn't make that painting. That's not why I bought it. I bought it because I had volume 1. Made it seem like it is why I bought it when I said that, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Yeah, well. Chris sent me 2 very cool Japanese myth and legends type books, right? Books that he has actually recommended to me. And he must have had either extra copies or just sent me copies. I don't know. He's just doing cool stuff. What can I say? Him and Brian both. It's his Tales of Moonlight and Rain by Ued Akinari. I might be okay. A lot of Japanese names are phonetic, so I can sometimes stumble through them. Let's hope I get that right. Looks great. Looks really good. Thank you very much. And he had a comment here that before Hearn there was Akinari. And he says after reading this, watch the film Ugetsu. Let's hope I got that right. So, very cool. Thank you again, Chris. Actually, thank you to Brian, too. There's lots of cool stuff from Brian here. I think there's still some Brian stuff I didn't show. And he also sent me these Japanese tales. Right? This is awesome. Right? I know that I think he recommended that book and this book, both in a response video to my Lefketio Hearn review. So, it was really cool. This looks just so good. Actually, it's good that I did this recording of this video because I think one or both of these were upstairs and didn't have them down here. And I thought, oh, I forgot those books. And so I was like, well, no, well. So because of that, now see, I have them here. Cool. Let's see. At that same bookstore, I picked up this book, which I think has an interesting story. It's The World of Darkness, Werewolf, right? And it's Wormwood Wormwolf. I'm sorry, Wormwolf, and Worm is spelled W-Y-R-M. If you know any World of Darkness, the RPG, Vampire the Masquerade was the big one. Werewolf the Apocalypse. That's what this is going for. That's what this is a novelization for. I believe this is the second book in that series. Is what I read, and I read something interesting. I don't know how I decided to look up a review for this, but someone said, yeah, the book's okay. Seems a little rushed in some points, like some plot points were kind of left behind. And the cover has absolutely nothing to do with the book. The writer, Mr. Ido van Belkom, I think I got that close, made a comment on that. It says, it was hurried. I was supposed to write the fourth book in the series. But the first guy sort of like flaked out and just couldn't be contacted or whatever. And so they moved my book from the fourth spot to the second spot. So I had 6 weeks to write this book. Okay. And they just used the cover from the second book for my book. He said it was his first novel in print. I thought that was kind of cool. It was interesting to hear that. So, hey, probably not bad. It'd be kind of interesting to go through and read this. Here's the writer himself in the picture from the original, the old picture there. Might be kind of fun to go through this. I always enjoyed Werewolf the Apocalypse. I should make a video about Werewolf the Apocalypse. Not that I'm a lore expert, but I absolutely love that game. Right? Semi-obsessed with the werewolf lore in there, but I don't. Not that I'm super knowledgeable about it or anything, but I don't know why. Like all the like World Darkness, like werewolf lore is like floating around in my head with like traditional werewolf myth, and it's a weird thing to have floating around your head with, but that's what's going on. Anyhow, so this looks like it might be a fun thing to read. Brian, I'll say this. Brian had this book and it was awesome. He had The Great and Secret Show, and I did not have this Clive Barker book. Send it to me. Awesome. I have this. Boom, it's going to go on the shelf. Gotta make room. Oh, yep. Gotta go over there. Yep. The other thing, I think this is the last of the books that I picked up at that bookstore. I picked up the Legends of the Five Rings, The Unicorn. This is the second in the Legends of the Five Rings series, right? Novelizations for the in sort of like telling a narrative in the world of the Legends of Five Rings, which is a collectible card game, and then later a tabletop RPG. I wanted this less for this book. What I really wanted was the first book. This is book 2. The first book is The Scorpion. And the unicorn, it refers to the clan, like Unicorn Clan. And the clans in Legends of Five Rings are kind of like classes in D&D, sort of. Kind of. And the Scorpion Clan is a very, has ninjas. And I looked up, like, what are some really good ninja novels? And one that came up was The Scorpion. Somebody says, personal favorite, The Scorpion. I'm like, okay. And I was able to find a copy that I picked up. It's in the mail, I think. I hope. For inexpensive that I'd like to try. I don't know. I'm on kind of like on the down low, I'm a little bit on a ninja kick right now. So I don't know. A ninja kick, isn't that right? Yep, it sure is. That's not a play on words. Huh. Anyhow, look cool. It'd be kind of fun to read these old series. I do kind of like the Legends of the Five Rings. Total anecdote here. There's a really, I think, absolutely amazing story about the collectible card game for this on Matt Colville's channel. He does a lot of, I think it's just Matt Colville or at Matt Colville, I'm sure. He does a lot of like D&D, like 5th edition, but not just 5th edition videos. He's been doing it for a long time. Big channel. But he did a video, it's probably 5 years old or more now, about like the greatest story or something in gaming or something like that, or something like that. I can't remember. And it's all about the collectible card game for Legends of the Five Rings. If that sounds interesting to you, if it's kind of like the kind of stuff you kind of think is interesting, go check it out. It was a very entertaining video. I really liked it. So definitely worth looking into. La. Now, my wife had picked up some books, and I don't know anything about them. But they're right here. So I'm going to hold them up, and I don't know anything about them. These came from the clearance section, it looks like, at Half Price Books. So she is a bargain hunter for sure. She has here Jonathan Barnes, The Somnambulist. Right? And it's got multiple stickers. I was just telling her today about the lighter fluid situation and how that's apparently the way to go. So we're going to have to put the lighter fluid to these. I don't know if I'm going to need a static room before I come in here now. After it's an open flames in the office. No sparks. All the metal is removed from this room. Right. I think they have like a de-static thing or something. Anyhow, this is not, sorry, it's a total distraction. She loves Wicked. I think this is along the same lines, but I don't know. The Wicked Will Rise by Danielle Page. Again, on clearance. She probably paid, what does it say? It says $3. I guess she paid $3. She probably paid a little less than $3 for it. So, seems cool. John Darnell, Devil House. I don't know anything about this. There it is. Again, we could be here all day while I read you the backs of these books. Whew, all day. An Elizabeth Handbook. I don't know if she picked this up that time or I did, but it doesn't matter. I really liked Elizabeth Hand's Wilding Hall, which is sort of like a V8, like kind of like a haunted VH1 behind the music, right? It's about this acid folk band that records their second album in this sort of like remote, like English countryside, like house. One summer in like the 70s or something like that, and the lead singer disappears, right? That's the premise, but it's done like interview style. I really liked it. So Elizabeth Hand, A Haunting on the Hill. So I liked Elizabeth Hand. I'd be interested in reading this. Sure, these other books are probably good too. I just don't know anything about them or the writers. So cool. And then this book, Neil Stephenson. Oh, really? Neil Stephenson and Nicole Galland. Yep. The Rise and Fall of the Dodo, a novel. Interesting. I don't know anything about this. Neil Stephenson, huh? I think she likes Neil Stephenson. Which I like him too. Some of his stuff's a bit long, but I like him too. So, looks interesting. Again, $3. She's that bargain hunter. You know, she's like, oh no. She is in the clearance section. Down in there, finding cool stuff. I saved these a little bit because I want to bring it up. But Chris also sent me a couple Jack Vances, which is cool. He sent me To Live Forever, which is pretty cool. Kind of, I like the cover. I like it. It's fun. It's a fun cover. Yeah, right on. I don't know what's going on here. I like it. Actually, I did read the back of these, but something about like, well, it's To Live Forever and it's a sci-fi novel. You know, there's going to be something with like immortality and the whole thing. Yep, that's what it is. The Blue World. I did not read the back of this, but you got like this weird octopus thing fighting a spaceship boat or something. And it's Jack Vance. So it's like, yeah, I'll probably be cool with trying it out. I almost always like Jack Vance's stuff. The worst I've ever had with Jack Vance has just been like, oh, that was pretty good. That's my worst reaction. So, there you go. The Astura. Let's get this guy on here who looks like his head is a blue spade. Like, you know, I don't know. It's pretty weird. Pretty weird. Could be cool. Is it Jack Vance? Oh, I think it says book 3 in the struggle for freedom in the world of Duradane. I do want to read the Duradane books. But before I do that, I want to read the Alistair books. And he had found a copy of Trulian. Right? This woman has no pants on. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. It's all hazy. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know why I don't know what happened to her pants, man. That's not... I don't know. Why these women don't have pants? Anyways, I do want to read this series. I want to read it too because a few years ago, Jacob Hurst, is that right? Hurst, I believe, at least his last name, who is like the Swordfish Isles guy. It's an OSR RPG product. Yep, Jacob Hurst did a very nice reprint of Whist, Alistair 1716. And it's got this absolutely, I think these are the end pages. Is that what these are called? Just gorgeous stuff. And it's got some really cool interior art as well. And very, very nice printing. I wanted to see, I did not see where you could buy this. Now, this is just just one illustration, for example. There's a number of them in here. So I don't know. But I was like, ooh, and I thought, oh, that one in the magazine, but it's only the end of, that's the second book. So this is the first book. That's the third book. That magazine had the end of the second book. Ugh. So I was looking up the second book, and I saw a series of covers for the entire series. And I was like, oh, I love those covers. So I think I'm going to buy those covers. I believe the next sci-fi novels I'm going to read after I finish Pandora's Star, right? Other things are coming up, right? There's all kinds of stuff going. But the next sci-fi series I want to start up, I want to read these 3 books, right? I want to read those 3. They look like they would be cool. So that's something I definitely want to do. We're just going to put it like that. I want to read this. This would be cool. So I'd like to get those covers and get that read. It'll happen. I have to be careful because I feel like I say, well, I'm going to do this. And there's a long list of things I want to do. And then something else comes up, right? Like Chris and Brian and I, we didn't plan on doing these horror things. And maybe it won't be a big deal, but maybe we'll get super into it. Who knows? Anything can happen. So anyhow, that's super cool. So I definitely want to read that series. That's probably the next Vance. Well, I'm going to read I do want to read the Kugel Saga and Michael Shea's alternative sequel to The Eyes of the Overworld that he wrote, A Quest for Symbolus, I think. I'd like to read those 2 books and compare them. So that's really the next Vance thing I'm going to read. That's fantasy, though. Or I think it's fantasy. It's fantasy. It's like science fantasy. Anyways. So that's that. Now, still going on. Also, the other day I picked up, I thought I had these 2 Ted Chiang novels, but I didn't. Chiang, I think it's Chiang. I really hope so. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Arrival. We don't have this. But I was like, oh, let's go ahead and pick it up. Good price. And I could swear we had Exhalation, but I could not find it. But I found the hardcover, what I thought was an excellent, like basically brand new condition for a very reasonable price. Probably paid just a little bit less than $13 for it, really. That was cool. I don't know if I already held this book up. I feel like I already did. I might have held that book up too. If I did, I'm sorry. I can't remember. But this M. John Harrison biography, I Wish I Was Here, looks really good. I'm not going to say anything else about it because I feel like I might have already brought it up. So anyhow, we're just going to leave that. Also, Brian sent me a couple more things. Here they are at the bottom. He sent me a couple Goosebumps books, which is awesome. Night of the Living Dummy 2. And It Came From Beneath the Sink. Now, I don't normally read this stuff, but you know what? This could be fun. I certainly wouldn't take very long. So I don't know. This would be cool. It'd be cool. I've never read it. I honestly have never read a Goosebumps book. And then he sent me this comic as well. This really nice edition of this comic, Shifter. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I want to say I saw him hold this up before, but I don't remember anything about it. Whether he liked it or didn't like it or anything. It just looks cool. I like the art. It's kind of got I wanted to say airbrush, but that's not quite it. Sort of like a pseudo photorealistic, like sort of going for like a photorealistic sort of style, maybe. That's correct, I hope. Looks pretty cool, and I like dinosaur stuff, and prehistoric animal stuff, so easy sell. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, now, you think we're done? Oh, no. No, I wish I was done. I'm getting tired. No, that's cool. Let's see. We're going to save this. Not these yet. Okay. In the recommendation for that new game recommendation video, somebody recommended James Thurber's 13 Clocks, and I was able to pick up this copy very inexpensively. Looks super good. You can see the bookmark here is for my wife. I was like, I need to borrow that for a minute. She's like, okay. So she let me borrow it back. And it shouldn't be too long. This is like a young adult, or almost like, maybe it's a children's novel or it's a young adult novel. Very, very well reviewed. People are like, I love this book. So, cool. Except for maybe there were people there who didn't like it, but didn't understand that it was supposed to be like a children's book or a young adult book. So, Yeah, he would review those two books differently. We went to a resale shop down the street just the other day, just a couple days ago, and picked up a couple books there. They were all like $3 a piece, so it was cool. Picked up a John Saul book, Second Child. I don't know, $3. I'm like, okay, let's try it. Right, there's a John Saul on the back. Right, no Frazetta cover on the back of this book, but it looks good. I don't know. I mean, I think it could be cool. Maybe it was something who knows. They had a copy. They had a copy of Clive Barker's Galilee, which I did not own, and it was super cheap, and it's in very nice condition, if you ask me. So that was cool. I didn't have Galilee. In fact, I didn't remember that he'd even written this book, so I don't know honestly very much about it at all, and didn't look up very much about it. I was like, Clive Barker, it's not, okay, I'm gonna go for it. Also know almost nothing about this book. I think it was mostly because of the title. Who knows, but I picked up this book called by Jane Stanton Hitchcock, The Witch's Hammer. Don't know anything about it. I think I kind of skimmed a couple reviews and was like, okay, maybe this would be interesting. Who knows? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll try it. If it isn't good, then I'll unload it. They had this really interesting nonfiction book. I don't know. It was so inexpensive, right? At like $2 or something, $3, $2. That I thought, oh, it's worth a try. Even if I don't end up doing very much with it, I think it'd be neat. It's The Serpent and the Swan, The Animal Bride in Folklore and Literature by Boria Sachs. And it just seemed kind of neat. I don't know. It could be worth a skim, worth something, one of those things that you book, like, you're like, I don't know what I would read right now. And I'll just grab something like that and read a little bit of it. And, maybe there was something, read a section of it and read something interesting. You never know. I like books like that where you can just sort of pick up like that. Let's see. Yes. Let's do these two books first. And then, let's see. They had this Gothic treasure trove. Now, I saw this and I was like, ooh, this looks cool. I love this cover. And it's got a bunch of different novels in here. Now, I should have been a little bit more suspicious. But it's a Reader's Digest, and these are condensed novels. But it has some just stunning interior art. I don't know if I can show any of it here. Like, look at this. Again, $2. I'm sorry, this was $3. I thought, and I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. I thought, well, there's a good chance that I wouldn't have read any of these at all. So maybe you sample it with this, and then if you really like it, then you can go get the book. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not a terrible thing to sometimes like read abridged stuff or read condensed stuff. I know for a long time it was like, oh, anything abridged, or it was like, no, why would I ever do that? It's like not even the full thing. But, obviously I can tell now as a reader that like not everything deserves my full attention. Right? There's many times I've read a book and been like, wow, this book could have been about half as long as it was, because the other half added nothing to it. Obviously it's no secret that writers often get paid by the word. So if your book is short, you get paid less. And not every writer has this like masterpiece sort of like mentality. That sometimes they're like, listen, I want to write, I like writing, and I like to get paid, and I want to do this for a living. So if my book is longer, it's better. So maybe something where it's condensed, where some of that stuff is sort of squeezed out, and you just have the core of the narrative. Maybe it's worth trying. Who knows? For $3, I don't think I came out too bad. So there's that. And this last one is really interesting. Frank Pariti? Ooh, I'm sorry. The Oath. Now, I did not do much research into this writer or this book. And Brian and someone else too both said, "Oh, it turns out." I think Brian said that like I did a little research on this guy because I'd never heard of him, and it turns out that people were calling him like the Christian Stephen King, and I thought, what? What does that mean? I have no idea. I have no idea what this is going to be. Very interesting. Who knows? Maybe it's good. It makes me pretty cautious. Pretty cautious. I think, ooh, it might be not good. Might be like, ooh, but you never know. But I don't know. I've never read anything by this writer. I'll give anybody a chance. Anybody can have a chance. It could be a great read. Maybe not something I'd read all the time, but maybe I really enjoy this. You never know. But I thought it was kind of funny, like a Christian Stephen King. Okay. Maybe Christian fiction might be a better way of saying that, right? It has a Christian, so it's obviously I've read many writers who were Christian before, but someone who is putting their Christianity in their fiction. Ooh, that's interesting. Well, we'll see. It could be awesome. I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not, I would probably just read it and just see if I got there. Not really high on the list, but you never know. Okay, and then we have this other book that I picked up a little while ago that I didn't have, The Cabinet of Curiosities by Jeff and Ann Vandermeer. I got this relatively inexpensively, and this goes along with another book that I've got. The Thackeray T. Lambshead Cabinet of Curiosities. I also have the Thackeray T. Lambshead Book of Discredited Diseases, which are really fun. That's a really fun book. And I didn't have this. I thought, ooh, I want to go ahead and get that book too. So I picked this up, again, inexpensively. Did I need it? Yes, I did. And we went to Borders this weekend. Or not Borders. Oh, my God. Wouldn't that have been a time? We got the time machine, went to Borders. Jesus, I think I did that earlier too. Barnes & Noble. And I picked up Solenoid by Mirka Cartaresi. Ooh, Jesus. I cannot say this last name. I'm only going to say it wrong. So instead of saying it wrong, I'm just going to hold the book up close and you can decide how to pronounce it. It looked really interesting. Aaron, the same person who recommended Brian Evanson's Last Days, had said, oh, this book looks interesting. I don't think that she's read it in its entirety yet. So I don't know, but it looks really interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. I think it looks cool. It looks pretty cool. I was like, okay, I'm trying it. Let's see. They also did have a Brian Evanson book there, and I wasn't going to get it. I was putting it back, and I read the first line from the blurb on the back, and it said, "A newborn's absent face appears in the back of someone else's head, comma." I thought, what? And I was putting the book back, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take that book. Right? I really enjoyed Last Days. This is a collection of short stories. A filmmaker goes to gruesome lengths to achieve the silence he's after for his final scene. A therapist begins impossibly to appear in a troubled patient's room late at night. Yeah, I was like, oh, this sounds real strange. I'm digging it. I'm doing it. I'm digging it, and I'm doing it. That's what I said. They had this really gorgeous copy of Italo Calvino's Invisible Cities in hardback. The last page was a little crinkled. I don't know if you can even see it on the camera. It was a little crinkled. Not terrible. I don't know what happened. Probably it got folded. And so they discounted it for me. Yes. And they did not have any other copies there. And it looks super cool. And I really like Italo Calvino. So that was a sale for me. I'm like, give me that book. It looks super cool. And I saw this manga, and it looked really interesting. I think my daughter says that she has the first volume of it, but this book collects the first three, and it's Anjin Demi-Human Complete, Volume 1 by Gaimon Sakuri. Sakuri? I think Sakuri's right. I'm sorry. I feel terrible because it's like I don't ever like look up how to pronounce something before I get on here. So it's like I could probably, if I looked it up, get it right, but I always forget to do it. I always forget to do it. All right, drink. What was the other thing? Oh, let's randomly pick a book from the shelf, right? We'll play a game. We'll play categories, all right? Or at least we use this categories die. I'll roll this twice to sort of get an idea for our last name, right? Try and pick the book that's closest to that, and then bring it down and we'll look at it. And who knows? Not all these books in here are mine, so this might prove interesting. Mostly we're just going to stay in the fiction section. In the novels, I'm not going to go into the short story section or into the biographies or anything like that. You know, just for now. And some of that stuff, like my paperbacks, are not alphabetized right now because I'm still not done with this office, even after all this time. Obviously, I have all the stuff I have to put away too. So here we go. Interesting. AA. So this is like the first book on the shelf. Well, this is funny. This is it's a Thieves World book, which I really like. Thieves World. Now, I've not read this particular one. Still has the old half price sticker on. I guess we'll take it off. This is Thieves World Turning Points. It says edited by Lynn Abbey. Thieves World was like a shared world. Somebody, I think it was Aspirin, Robert Lynn Aspirin and Lynn Abbey. Came up with Thieves World as a sort of shared world. Sanctuary is the name of the city, and it's just this sort of nasty sort of city, this fantasy city, and then other writers would come in and write stories for it. So this one is the turning point. I don't know where this is in the series. This is not one of the first few, I don't think. Sanctuary. It says Sanctuary and Thieves World Turning Point, so I don't know. Is this... It says 2002. First edition 2002. So this is not one of the really early ones. The really early Thieves World books were like the 80s, maybe? Anyhow. But yeah, and so all these writers would come in and write these stories set in this shared world, sometimes with a shared set of characters. And here we've got, I'm trying to look at the big names I recognize. Well, the editors, Raymond Feist, I know him. That is the only one here who I know for sure. Some of these kind of look familiar, but I've not... Jeff Grubb. Jeff Grubb is somebody. Jeff Grubb is he's a D&D guy, isn't he? Jeff Grubb, wasn't he the guy that did the Marvel superhero role-playing game for TSR? I think so. Interesting. Jeff Grubb and Raymond Feist. Okay. Anyhow, well, so there's this world, Thieves World. Let's read the back. Oh, that's not the back. That's a quote. Sanctuary, a lawless city governed by evil forces, powerful magic, and political intrigue. The age of the rank and reign of Cadarthus. The occupation of the Basib. You know what? Please, with the fantasy names. And indeed, the erstwhile Renaissance are all in the past. And it is years later, and the legendary figure of Jabal, Tempest, Shadowspawn, and the Storm Children are just now memories and rumor. But the city and its people live on. A new pantheon of personalities has moved in, are making their mark on this dark and dangerous city. So, interesting. So this is kind of a new collection of Thieves World stories. I would have brought over the other Thieves World story, but I think I have it alphabetized under Aspen, not Abbey. But this just says Lynn Abbey, so that's why it's first. So there's one. Interesting. I didn't realize the two Thieves World books were separate. I don't know if I should shelve them together or not. Interesting. Anyhow, so Thieves World. And we roll one more time just to see what random book we're going to hit. What a strange pick. I don't know if that really should be over there since it's not a novel. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. Should these World's books be over in the short stories? Probably. Oh well. R. Okay. RK. RK. What do we get with RK? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I got to walk around. William Ritter's Jacoby. And it looks like we got this from half price on clearance for $2. We probably paid a little less than $2. And it's an autographed copy, apparently. Let's see. Is it? It is. There he is, the autograph right there. There's Jacoby. And let's see what it says. Newly arrived in New Fiddleham, New England, 1892, and in need of a job, Abigail Rook meets R.F. Jacoby, an investigator for the unexplained with a keen eye for the extraordinary, including the ability to see supernatural beings. Abigail has a gift for noticing ordinary but important details which make her perfect for the position of Jacoby's assistant. On her first day, Abigail finds herself in the midst of a thrilling case. A serial killer is on the loose. The police are convinced it's an ordinary villain, but Jacoby is certain the foul deeds are the work of the kind of creature whose very existence the local authorities, with the exception of a handsome young detective named Charlie Kane, seem adamant to deny. So kind of a Holmesian, sort of Sherlock Holmes-like thing, but with like a... yeah, it seems like a kind of an alternate, like a kind of a reimagining of a Holmes-type character, right? Sort of going after a... what I'm going to say is like a Jack the Ripper type murder thing is what I'm kind of getting from this. Maybe, but there's a supernatural element too, which seems cool. Pretty cool. There's this little like advertisement in the back too. It says, R.F. Jacoby, Investigator Services, Assistant Wanted, $8 a week, must be literate and possess a keen intellect and an open mind, strong stomach preferred. Inquire at 926 Auger Lane. Do not stare at the frog. And there is a little frog that someone has illustrated. Awesome. I don't know. This is pretty cool. This is a book my wife undoubtedly found. It says Sherlock Holmes crossed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is what the Chicago Tribune says. Fun. So I don't know. So it's kind of fun. You know, it's kind of I don't know what I'm gonna go grab. So yeah, right on. Thanks very much for watching. A like and subscribe are appreciated if you enjoy what I'm doing here. I've added some support link, a support link in the description if you're interested. Completely optional. That's all I have for right now. There's a lot of books. I talked for a very long time. I'll have to edit this down a little bit, but it was fun. It was fun. It was finally got all this stuff out. Whew, my goodness, I can put these books away. Hopefully those reviews are coming soon. Oh, coming soon. Anyhow, thank you, like a huge thanks to Chris and Brian for all the stuff they sent me. You know, this comes a little late, but happy Mother's Day. Bye.